Hello everyone and welcome once again to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time when we left off we had fully explored the Soul Cairn except for a couple of discrete cells, the Reaper's Lair and the Boneyard. First things first, let's turn in the pages to Jib for the Impatience of a Saint side quest.
You did it. You have all of my pages.
Here's all of the pages.
Finally. I never thought I'd see these again. These pages meant the world to me. Thank you.
So now what?
Now Volume 2 begins. What else?
I'll be off then.
Oh, wait a moment. Here, I want you to have these before you go. A pristine copy of my first volume. Only one in print, actually. And take this as well. Seeing as Saint Jib has ascended to pure spiritual form, I won't need it any longer.
Barrier should be gone now. Let's head back.
Completed Impatience of a Saint. So he takes the pages. What he gives us is a copy of St. Jib's Opus, which I actually will keep with me. Just look at the weight to value ratio on this puppy. 1 pound, 1,250 gold. Let's read the entire thing and take it off of our book list. There it is. And we also get the unique item, the Locket of St. Jib. Take that off of our item list. And of course, before I forget, I need to take the quest off my quest list. This Impatience of a Saint is done. Lovely. Alright. St. Jib's Opus. The Rise and Fall of St. Jib the Eradicator, Hero of Morrowind and Savior of the Dunmer, by Jib. I am a hunter, I am a redeemer, I am Jib. The tale of my rise to glory begins in the ash wastes of Morrowind. I rode alone, weapon at my side, and the burning wind stinging my face. My quest was arduous but necessary to ensure the survival of the Dunmer people. A pestilence was creeping across the ashlands, a menace with an insatiable hunger that plagued innocent travelers simply trying to get home. It was my self-sworn task to hunt them down one by one and drive them from the skies. Their fury knew no bounds, and their war cry resonated across the land. They were the notorious cliff racers, and they had to be destroyed. On a particularly hot day during sun's height, I was tracking what I called a lingerer, a cliff racer without a nest. He was a particularly feisty one, too, leading me on a merry chase across almost 3 miles of ash dunes. I had managed to take a piece out of one of his wings in an earlier scuffle, so he couldn't maintain much of a climb, but he still had quite a bit of stamina left, and he was trying to make me tire of the chase. Almost 2 solid hours passed, and my silt strider was tiring, but I couldn't give up. I had sworn to eliminate the foul beasts to the last, and I wasn't about to let it go. If I was going to stop the thing, I'd have to do it fast. I pulled my longbow from my back and knocked my last arrow. I took a deep breath and pulled, trying to keep the cliff racer in my sights. It was literally a long shot, with the beast gaining distance and the silt strider bouncing me around at full gallop. Finally, with a silent prayer, I released the string. The arrow sang through the air like a howling demon as it sliced its way towards its target. Finally, just as it crested the lip of a foyada, the arrow struck it in the midsection. It let out a horrible cry and fell out of sight. My cries of triumph were quickly stifled by the sound of over 100 wings. Rising from the foyada was an entire colony of cliff racers, and they were out for blood. The blasted thing had led me right to their nest and sacrificed itself with the intent of feeding me to its brood. It was a trap. The damned things had become much too clever. Knowing this was likely the end, I jumped down from the silt strider and hit the back of its leg with the flat of my glass blade. There was no need for the innocent thing to die here today because of my stupidity. As the ash cloud cleared from being stirred up by its massive legs, the cliff racer brood approached. I held my sword high and prepared for the worst. The battle lasted 2 full days. I was beaten, clawed, bitten, and knocked down more times than I care to remember. In the end, 76 cliff racers were slaughtered. I was knee-deep in their corpses and my body on the verge of collapse, but I had survived. I smiled to the heavens and all went black. When I awoke, all I felt was my back on a cold stone floor. Every muscle in my body was on fire and my vision was blurred. Slowly I tried to climb to my feet. It took several agonizing minutes, but I finally managed to do it. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light of my new surroundings, I realized that I was standing before Lord Vivek himself. He was simply staring at me, floating above his throne and staring at me with his piercing eyes. When I began to prostrate myself as a sign of respect, he held up one of his hands as if to say it wasn't necessary. Was I dead? Was Lord Vivek pleased with me? Was he about to strike me down in anger for my somewhat sordid past? Suddenly I understood everything. Suddenly I realized that I was brought here for a reason. I should have died in those ash wastes, but Lord Vivek must have seen something inside me that he hadn't seen in millennia and decided to spare me from my fate. Thus began my ascent to sainthood. Thus began the rise of Jib. And if you look at the amulet or the locket of Saint Jib, it raises carrying capacity by 50 points, increases stamina by 50 points, and I think it's unique in this respect as far as lockets go. It actually has an armor rating. It's not very high, but it adds 11 light armor points. So if we check our journal, Impatience of a Saint, I've returned all of Jib's lost notes to the poor soul. He presented me with an amulet and a pristine copy of his first volume in appreciation for my efforts. Oh, there you go. Now let's go fight the Reaper. Did you really think that Reaper gem fragments that unlocked a building called the Reaper's Lair were going to wind up in anything other than a fight? Because that's silly. We found it before. It shouldn't be too hard to track it down again. Yeah, there it is. The Reaper's quest-ish thing is the only thing that's actually completely unmarked. We head into his lair here. Very dark inside, as you can see. But we have a Reaper Shard receptacle. When we put all three in, the Reaper appears.
Who's there?
Flanked by several bone men. So you always have to have minions, right?
I knew I heard something.
Anyway, difficult fights are mainly a thing of the past, as they probably should be at this point in the game, but nevertheless, looks like we can't actually search the bone men we killed. But we can search the Reaper's ghostly remains for a rather underwhelming set of black soul gems, a Daedra heart, and an iron battle axe. Oh. There are the fragments. Guess they're just floating there. How strange. Anyway, that's it. Killing the Reaper is more a matter of pride than any kind of actual reward. And now we really have nothing left to do in the Soul Cairn except return to Valerica at the Boneyard. So let's make sure Serana's got nothing new to say.
I can't believe we found my mother alive. Well, you know what I mean.
So we've done all that already. Not sure how I failed to spot that Daedric shield earlier, but that's kind of cool. Anyway, let's just sprint right over to the Boneyard. No sense wasting time. Barrier should be gone, so we can just chat with Valerica now. Wherever she is.
You managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Very impressive.
Are you able to give us the scroll now?
Yes. Please follow me. Keep watch for Durnevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
Completed. Speak to Valerica. Follow Valerica. Serana and I have slain all 3 of the keepers, and the barrier around Valerica's prison has faded. We rejoined Valerica, who has agreed to take us to the location where the Elder Scroll is hidden. So you can see where Valerica's been living all these centuries. Right here. Apparently she doesn't sleep. We got some more soul husks and an alchemy lab. And a few books we've already read. Now let's roll into the boneyard. And as Valerica predicted, we will now have to fight the undead dragon Durnevere. Let's drop a save and do exactly that.
I hear something.
Completed. Follow Valerica. Slay Durnevere.
Who's there?
What's up, Brohim? So, unlike other areas of the Soul Cairn, you really just want to focus on Durnevere here, because if you kill all of his minions, he'll just do that special summoning shout again and call in more. And likewise, I believe that once we drop him, all of his minions will die. Speak to Valerica. As Valerica was leading us to the Elder Scroll, an ancient dragon named Durnevere swooped into the ruins and attacked. It proved to be a challenging battle, but we've emerged unscathed. We can search some of these. You'll notice we can't search Durnevere, and he disappears in a fairly strange way, but in that case, let's go ahead and take that so we can recharge our weapon. Anyway, you'll notice that his corpse simply disappears. You don't absorb a dragon soul. And you can't search him either. Well, let's go ahead and chat with Valerica. Now that that's done, despite it being a big, impressive structure, there really isn't anything to find in the boneyard outside of the cache Valerica leads you to.
Forgive my astonishment. I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon.
What makes you say that?
Volumes written on Durnevere allege that he can't be slain by normal means. It appears they were mistaken. Unless...
Go on.
The soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's scaling. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Durnevere's physical form while he reconstitutes himself.
How long will that take?
Minutes, hours, years. I can't even begin to guess. I suggest we don't wait around to find out. Now, let's get you the Elder Scroll and you can be on your way.
Come on. She's leading us to the scroll.
Follow Valerica. Sure, let's follow her. Big special chest here. Completed. Follow Valerica. Retrieve the Elder Scroll.
What did you want?
We've asked all that already.
Let me get the scroll's
My
keys.
mother lied. Well, you know what I mean.
Okay. She's got a big collection of books here as well. I guess this is actually where she's been living. I believe I have read Magic from the Sky. I believe I have read Effects of the Elder Scrolls. Immortal Blood, Book of Life and Service, On Oblivion. Yep, I've read all those. Look over here. We've got got a bunch of other stuff. I'm really just trying to grab these soul husks. I'm not interested in anything else.
I can't believe we found my mother alive. Well, you know.
And then, of course, inside the case,
I don't think I can do it.
Elder Scroll, Blood. Completed. Retrieve the Elder Scroll. Speak to Valerica. Completed. Find the Elder Scroll, Blood. So that's on Seeking Disclosure. Remember, now we also need to find the Elder Scroll Dragon. And we need to speak to Valerica once
I can't
again.
believe we found my mother alive. Well,
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way. If there's anything I can do before you depart, you must let me know.
Can you help get my soul back? Oh, good. We didn't have to play with the weakened soul effect, but we are going to get to demo the quest, so that's good.
My daughter applied some of the lessons I taught her about necromancy, did she? Don't worry. I think I can help you.
Good, I could use all the help I can get.
Your soul essence was trapped inside a gem. When you and Serana entered the Soul Cairn, it was given to the Ideal Masters as payment. You simply need to retrieve the gem. The moment you touch it, your soul essence will be restored.
Any idea where it could be?
There's an offering altar not terribly far from here. I'm willing to bet that the gem you're looking for is there. Is there anything else? Could be your last chance.
You're staying here?
I have no choice. As I told you before, I'm a daughter of Cold Harbor. If I return to Tamriel, that increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition.
We'll return for you when we
I
can.
appreciate your concern for me, but Serana is all that I care about. You must keep her safe at all costs. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted. No matter what he promises, he'll deceive you in order to get what he wants. And promise me you'll keep my daughter safe. She's the only thing of value I have left.
Completed. Speak to Valerica. Return to Tamriel. And before we do that, we'll want to retrieve the Soul Essence Gem, which is outside the Boneyard. Now we just need to head on back. Excuse me. Coming down with a bit of a cold, unfortunately. But, as we head out, we're going to run into Durnevere again. But don't rush to attack him.
Stay your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinarin.
I thought you were dead.
Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and Enoch. Between life and death.
Why are we speaking?
I believe in civility among seasoned warriors, and I find your ear worthy of my words. My claws have rended the flesh of innumerable foes, but I have never once been felled on the field of battle. I therefore name you Quinarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue.
I found you equally worthy.
Your words do me great honor. My desire to speak with you was born from the result of our battle, Quinarin. I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you.
What kind of a favor?
For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there.
What's stopping you?
I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. I share a bond with this dreaded place. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I was no more.
How could I help?
I will place my name with you and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do me this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze Mazen, your ally, and teach you my Thum.
Just call your name in Tamriel? That's it?
Trivial in your mind, perhaps. For me, it would mean a great deal. I don't require an answer, Quinarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is right.
Summon Durnivir in Tamriel. Learn the first word of Durnivir's shout. Why do you call me Quinarin? Ah, yes. Word of power learned. Curse, summon Durnivir. Word of power learned. Never, summon Durnivir. Word of power learned. Dying, summon Durnivir. So, we've learned all 3 words of the summon Durnivir shout, so we can take it off the dragon shout list accordingly. Now, why do you call me Quinarin?
In my language, the Quinarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle.
Fellow Dova? I am not a dragon.
You are the Dovahkiin, the Dragonborn. You may not be one of us in body, but you have earned the right to bear this title.
How did you end up in the Soul Cairn?
There was a time when I called Tamriel my home, but those days have long since passed. The Dova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory that resulted in immense and ultimately fatal battles.
Were you a part of all that?
I was, but unlike some of my brethren, I sought solutions outside the norm in order to maintain my superiority. I began to explore what the Dova call Elok Dylan, the ancient forbidden art that you call necromancy.
So you sought the Soul Cairn for answers.
The Ideal Masters assured me that my powers would be unmatched, that I could raise legions of the undead. In return, I was to serve them as a keeper until the death of the one who calls herself Valerica.
They didn't tell you she was immortal.
I discovered too late that the Ideal Masters favor deception over honor, and had no intention of releasing me from my binding. They had control of my mind, but fortunately they couldn't possess my soul.
Is that why you're free now?
Free? No. I have been here too long, Quinarin. The Soul Cairn has become a part of what I am. I can never fully call Tamriel my home again, or I would surely perish. I only hope that you will allow me the precious moments of time there through your call.
Rough, dude. Alright, let's make sure his shout is unlocked, and I realized, as I was running around in here, that I never actually unlocked the third word of Whirlwind Sprint, even though I learned it. So we'll grab that one too. Let me make sure there's nothing else I failed to unlock. No, we're good. Okay, so we do need to unlock the 3 words of Summon Durnivir, which is fine. Practically drowning in dragon souls. Durnivir, hear my voice and come forth from the Soul Cairn. I summon you in my time of need. Now, let's look at our objectives. Summon Durnevere in Tamriel and learn the first word of Durnevere's shout. This is a miscellaneous quest called Durnevere. All we have to do is summon him 3 times and he'll teach us a pretty baller new dragon shout called Soul Cairn. We learn 1 word with each summoning, and on the 3rd one, the quest is over and we have a new shout. It's pretty cool. Let's go to the offering altar right quick, just so you can see if you opted for the soul trap option from the outset. This is how you'll get rid of the weakened soul effect. If you do what I did, I'm okay with it. I didn't really gain any advantage from it. I just broke sequence a little bit by curing myself of vampirism a little too early. Ah, it's in here. That's fine. We'll just make our way through here. Same as we did before. Oh, that was it. Ah. I got misled. Bought the teleporter to the roof. And here's our full soul essence gem. We take it, disappears, we get an empty black soul gem, and if you have been playing with the weakened soul effect, at that time it'll disappear. We don't actually need Arvak's soul, nor skull. I'll keep it though, that's a pretty cool unique item. We'll stash it at home. And we are just 1 soul husk short of being able to buy something from, to buy another soul, of being able to buy another spell tome from Morven on our way out. It's hard for me to imagine I missed any. I feel like I was pretty thorough. I'll keep my eyes peeled, but I don't like my chances. Yeah, no extra husks. Not that I can see. I'm not gonna hold on to these either. It's kind of a waste, so let's just ditch those. Something weird's happening. My renderer isn't really keeping up. But that's alright. Yep. We are good. We are good to leave. With all that handled, we can really just make a beeline back to Valerica's portal and head back to Tamriel. And if you want to avoid having to bull your way through with the console like I did, now is when you should do Rising at Dawn, if you did the vampire option. Here we are, back at the Volkihar ruins. There are 2 things I want to do at the outset. Number one, I want to... Completed Beyond Death.
Let's go home.
That's actually an achievement. Complete Beyond Death. 54 out of 75, 72%. We've exited the Soul Cairn with the Elder Scroll in hand. Serana's mother Valerica is unwilling to return with us to Tamriel until we've dealt with her husband and thwarted the tyranny of the sun. So, now Dawnguard stays on hold until you advance the main quest far enough to get the Dragon Elder Scroll. So let's chat with Serana. Does it bother you that we're working against your father?
I can't say it surprises me. I kind of figured we were heading for this someday. I just didn't know when.
Will it be hard for you if we have to kill him?
If. I've been assuming that's where all this is going. I've been trying to make my peace with it. Come on, we can talk about this another time.
And now, we can lose Serana again. And you know I prefer to go without followers. So I think we should part ways.
Oh, alright. Goodbye then.
She'll head back to Fort Dawnguard, which is fine by me. For my purposes, I want to get down off this silly balcony. And then you got to get out somewhere where there's space for him to appear. I forgot to favorite the shout. I want to go ahead and do the first Durnevere summoning. I'm sort of hoping there's enough space on this island. There's not. There he is.
The free air of Fulse at long last. As promised, I now teach you the first word of soul tearing. Re, the essence of your enemy's life force.
Word of power learned. Essence, Soul Tear. Completed, summon Durnevere in Tamriel. Completed, learn the first word of Durnevere's shout. Learn the second word of Durnevere's shout. So let's unlock Soul Tear. Your Thuum cuts through flesh and shatters soul, commanding the will of the fallen. Soul Tear, let me make sure I get this right. I don't want to make an inaccurate statement. And I might as well let a load screen handle itself. So next we need to run to Windstad and offload the cool stuff we found. So let's do that. So at full strength, Soul Tear doesn't do anything until it's at full strength. But at full strength, it drains health 300 points, soul traps for 2 seconds, and reanimates the body for a minute after they die. It's pretty fucking cool, in other words. There's Shadowmere. Here's our second word.
My strength returning each time I am set free from that prison. Hear now the second word of soul tearing. Vase, meaning to tear your enemy's soul from its living vessel.
Word of power learned. Tear, Soul Tear. That's 2 out of 3 for that shout. Pretty awesome. Let's unlock the word. Go ahead and favorite Soul Tear too, because it's actually pretty cool. Now let's go inside, chat with Shadi, offload our stuff. And then the next thing we're going to do is something we've been putting off for a long, long time. A dungeon in the Rift with an associated full-size side quest. We're going to do Forelhost and the siege on the dragon cult.
Let's play a game.
Sure.
What do you want to play?
Hide and seek, always.
Okay, you stand right there and count to 10. No peeking. Ready? Go.
And I'll let you win, also, like always. Alright. Let's put away Arvak's skull. Just because it's neat. The Elder Scroll Blood we need to hold on to. It's a quest item, so it's not actually encumbering us 20 points, thankfully. We'll stash St. Jib's Opus. I think that's a neat thing to have. We'll stash the Locket of St. Jib. I think it's neat, too. And I don't think we actually found any weapons, so that's fine. Here's Shavi.
Anything you need, dear? The gold is flowing now.
Dollar bill, y'all. That's what I need. And let's check this. Just to see if there are any books I haven't read. There are not. That's fine. Out we go then. And now we're going to head to Broken Helm Hollow. It's probably the easiest access point for getting to Forelhost. Durnavir is still out here, if you're wondering. I think you can actually see him on the world map right now, which is kind of crazy and cool. So, Forelhost is up here. Let's head to Broken Helm Hollow. That should burn Durnavir's cooldown, so we can summon him for the third time and learn the third and final word of Soul Terror. Excuse me. Oh, I didn't want to hit Shadowmere. Come on. There we go. This feels more normal. Running around Tamriel, fucking up bandits.
You have kept your side of the bargain. Now let me fulfill mine. Feel the last word of soul tearing within yourself. Zol, the unlife that resists when a soul is imprisoned in death.
Are you fucking kidding me? Alright, completed. Learn the final word of Durnavir's shout. And note that Durnavir is summoning Soul Cairn undead. Durnavir is actually an exceedingly powerful ally. If you're into summons. And there's no real reason not to be. I'm just irritated that his dialogue got interrupted. But we've got the third and final word of Soul Terror, as you can see. We got an achievement, Soul Terror. Learn all 3 words of Soul Terror. 55 out of 75, 73%. So I'll take that off of my shout list. That also completes the Durnavir miscellaneous quest. So I'm going to take that off of my quest list. And sure enough, our list is a little smaller again. Kind of fun. So, there are 2 dragon summoning shouts in the game. We don't know the one from the main game yet. Summons a powerful red dragon named Odahving. I think that if you want to summon a dragon, They both have a 300-second cooldown. I will go on the record saying that Durnavir is a better option. Not only is he strong, has his cool Drain Vitality shout, which nothing is resistant to, and that kind of differentiates him from Odahviing, because there are certainly fire-resistant enemies in the game. But he also, in addition to using Drain Vitality, which nothing is really resistant to, Durnavir also, he'll summon a big group of Soul Cairn undead when he lands. So you're getting several tunes for the price of one. And more importantly, you've got something that will actively distract your enemies even when your dragon ally is in the air, which can be very helpful indeed. So you might have noticed this ruin up here when we've been around this area before. You got this one tall mountain just kind of hanging out in the rift. There's actually a very, very involved, difficult dungeon up at the top with a dragon priest at the bottom of it. We could have come here earlier, but not too much earlier. Forelhost is pretty definitive high-level content as these things go. You'll want to head up through the tower in order to get all the way up onto the plateau. Let me see how long we've been going. 42 minutes. Here we have discovered Forelhost. So we can take it off of the discoverable locations list at least. Worry not, it's fully clearable. Oh look, the guy in Imperial armor.
You there. As an officer of the Imperial Legion, I require your assistance to complete my mission.
Captain Valmir, what mission?
The General has sent me to obtain a powerful weapon for the war effort. This was the last great bastion of the Dragon Cult, and their leader's mask was reported to be quite powerful.
What can you tell me about Forelhost?
It seems that after the strength of the cult was broken in the Dragon War, a last contingent came here to create a stronghold and regroup. King Harold's forces crushed stragglers here during the First Era, and it has been haunted ever since. But the specifics of the siege are unclear.
What can you tell me about the Dragon Cult?
They were among the first men to arrive from Atmora, and they worshipped certain animals as avatars of the gods, dragons being foremost. And for their bloody sacrifices, the dragons gifted their priests with terrible power. But their cruelty was too great for men to bear, and they rose up in what would be called the Dragon War, and the cult swept from the land.
General Tullius never mentioned you.
Oh, well, of course they disavow all knowledge. Spies are everywhere. Are you going to help me with my mission? I need someone very capable.
If it will help the cause.
Very good. The research I've done seems to indicate that Skorm Snowstrider left part of his journal here after laying siege. I believe it should indicate how to enter the blocked-off sections of the stronghold.
Started. Siege on the Dragon Cult. Optional. Find Skorm's...
Forelhost is quite haunted, but I'm sure you can handle it. Return to me here once you've obtained the staff.
Optional. Obtain Skorm Snowstrider's journal. Obtain Rogot's mask. I have been asked to defeat the Dragon Priest in Forelhost and to bring back his mask. A journal left by Skorm Snowstrider may reveal a way past the collapsed areas. Groovy. Well, let's look around out here right quick. Just in case there's anything I want. Not likely, but you never know. Spoiler alert, we'll get his orders later.
You, my friend, need practice.
There's no need to mess with that now. Let's head inside. Now that we're back in Tamriel and everything seems to be working properly, I am going to do a new anchor save. Then after this, we'll shift gears again and focus on the Dark Brotherhood for a little bit. Let me go ahead and make a new anchor save, and I think I can probably get through the dungeon without blowing up my hour too much. Oh, let's head inside. Got a dead Imperial soldier here, so we obviously aren't the first that Homeboy has sent in. Now this place is interesting in that you'll be fighting dragon cultists, which are really just leveled Draugr, but they're skinned as ghosts of full-on Nords, as you can see, so it's an interesting little bit to keep track of. And they do actually drop ancient Nord armor and ectoplasm in a way that Draugr never do, so that's kind of fun. Let's just keep on going. There's our next batter. Some of them even carry Dragon Priest daggers. You'll note that chest is empty, so I believe that's a signal that some have made it this far. No way to open this gate from this side, so just progress through the dungeon. Note the vial of poison next to the Draugr corpse. Another collapse. There's a coin purse and a novice-locked chest tucked away back here. Let's make sure we get that. Note that there's a Stormcloak corpse here. Well, that seems strange, doesn't it? Next room. More collapsed passages. A couple more cultist spirits to deal with. Once dealt with. They are dropping giant amounts of arrows. That's kind of cool. Search the room. Apprentice locked chest. Falmer and fire salts, don't care. But here is Scorm Snowstrider's journal, which we'll read and then pick up for our optional objective. Let me take Scorm Snowstrider's journal off my book list, and then we'll read it. 13th of Sun's Dusk, 1E139. At the command of Lord Harold, we have swept our company to the south edge of our territories in an attempt to drive the Snow Elves up north to the main host of his forces. The first few days met with heavy resistance, but as we approached the eastern edge of Lake Honneth, we have seen little and less of them. 21st of Sun's Dusk, 1E139. We've begun to receive reports of attacks back around Lake Honneth, and word has come from the front that we should pull back to be sure we are not leaving our rear exposed. If there is a stronghold of elves here, we will surely root them out. 27th of Sun's Dusk, 1E139. It sounds impossible, but we appear to have stumbled upon a massive holdout of the dragon cultists, who were believed to be wiped out during the Dragon War. The elves must wait, as this is a threat we cannot ignore. If we are quick, we may be able to catch them unaware and avoid a lengthy siege. 21st of Evening Star, 1E139. Third week of the siege. The men grow restless with the cold, and all miss their families. If that blasted storm hadn't caught us off guard and slowed our ascent, we might have taken the monastery. But as it stands, we may be in for several more weeks of pounding on their walls. I've sent word to Harold to send one of the voice masters to help bring down the wall. 4th of Morning Star, 1E140. We've brought down their main gate thanks to the young voice master, but the brash lad took an arrow in the neck in the process. It seems he will be joining the aid in Sovngarde soon. The cultists have fallen back to the interior of the monastery, but soon enough we will breach those defenses. The sooner the better. It's too blasted cold on this mountain. 5th of Morningstar, 1E140. We entered the monastery today only to find all inside dead. It appears they purposely caved in the stairway to the refectory and then took their own lives. Some appear to have slit their own wrists, others we found with empty vials. Most appeared to be poisoned, but oddly there are not as many empty bottles as one would expect by the number of dead. We shall hold up here overnight rather than face the cold, and explore the catacombs in the morning to see if we can find another passage to the upper areas. 6th of Morningstar, 1E140. May the 8 protect us from dragons and madmen. We lost half our remaining men today. We discovered a well in the catacombs, locked but with several buckets already filled, and in their excitement for a drink that didn't risk frostbite on their tongue, 2 score drank before we could stop them. Gods only know how these cultists could use that horrible poison in their own water supply. We've lost more men to this catastrophe than we did taking the courtyard. The well was locked from this side, and the key must be somewhere in the catacombs, but with the ghosts of these dead cultists and the men demoralized, it just isn't worth the search. Let those gods-forsaken cultists drink their way to oblivion and be done with it. The upper door in the courtyard has some sort of barrier over it, and our mages believe that the sacrifice made here will sustain it for decades at the least. We leave this accursed place tomorrow to regroup and push up north, but I will leave this journal, so that in an age or so, when the poison has faded, someone may find a way in to be sure the cultists met their due fate. Completed. Find Snowstrider's journal. Cool. Let's keep on going now. So you look around here, as advertised, you see bodies and empty vials of poison. So the cultists committed mass suicide, and now their spirits are guarding the crypt. And they also poisoned the water supply to take out as many of Harold's men as they could. Pretty clever. Pretty vile. See, this is what I still just absolutely love about this game. This dungeon is just up on top of the mountain. Nothing is ever going to send you here except your own urge to explore. And when you get here, the whole area has its own fairly involved storyline. It's just mainly told through the environment and the encounters with, you know, a little help along the way from journals and notes, but I love the way open world RPGs can do that. So, this whole area we're in right now is pretty optional. The way forward is over that bridge up there, so just search around, make sure I've got everything I want. I just picked up some weapon that I definitely don't want, an ancient Nord battle axe. There we go. I wonder, is Skorm's book a quest item? No. No actual need to carry it, which is nice. I think I'm actually fooling myself. I think that the way forward is down here. This bridge is the optional area. Yeah, so we're above the main room now. Or the entrance room, I should say. Not the main room. And you can see, still got collapse here, so just a few little goodies to nab. Then we got to go down here. And what I also like about Forelhost is, unlike a lot of the ancient Nordic barrows, you can actually... They do a pretty good job showing you with this one that, no, this is an actual place where the dragon cultists lived. I mean, we're in the goddamn kitchen. Look. Got a body here. There's the first more straightforward Draugr we've seen since we got in here. Quickly followed by another. Oh gosh. The only thing I hate about the bullseye perk and the otherwise awesome paralysis effect is how weird their hitboxes get for when you're trying to shoot them. Open this. This is the way forward, so let's check out this top level first. We got the ghost I killed. That's about it for here. What about up this ramp? There's a chest. Obvious trap is obvious. I don't care enough to pick the lock, though, so let's just dodge to the side. Now let's head in here. As you can see, we got some burnt corpses with Imperial shields, so some soldiers made it this far before they got roasted. I'm sure these pressure plates will trigger fire traps. But now we can open the gate to get back to the entrance if we need to. There's a Death Lord there. Not sure how I missed that. Thought we were alone. Oh well. Let's search these and let's head through to the second zone, the Forelhost Crypt. Check my time. We are more or less at the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to call the area transition a pretty good place to end this video. This has been Let's Play Skyrim. We finished off Beyond Death, we learned a few cool new shouts from Durnevere. Now we're tackling, I think, probably the last big side quest that's part of the base game. We put it off so long because it's tough, but the rewards are well worth it. Next time we'll finish off Forelhost, and then we'll spend some time on the Dark Brotherhood quest line. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider clicking an ad, liking, sharing, or subscribing, any or all of which really help me out. Regardless, please know that I really do appreciate the time you spend watching, and hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.